it's one thing to say, oh, Israel's going to collapse. Like, or someone who I often agree with on most of their takes says Israel's going to collapse. And I bring you that because I still think it's important, you know, if it's Chris Hedges or it's Scott Ritter or something. But it's a different kind of interesting to see it being said by like IDF commanders that Israel could collapse soon. Like, that's a different kind of revelation, of understanding, of a different kind of news. And here is in Haaretz, this is Yitzhak Brick. Major General Yitzhak Brick served in the Army Corps as a brigade division and troops commander of the IDF, and he was the commander of the IDF military colleges. So this is an IDF Israeli through and through. He bleeds blue and white. It doesn't have the quite same ring to it as I bleed red, white, and blue. It's got a little better ring to it, but this guy bleeds blue and white. Long-term IDF commander. And he has written that Israel will collapse within a year if, he says, the war of attrition against Hamas and Hezbollah continues, which it seems to be going in that path. And so his point on writing this is to try and influence the ruling elite of Israel to stop their war of attrition against Hamas and Hezbollah. Now, of course, because he's pro-Israeli, he's not calling it a genocide, he's calling it a war. There's plenty of propaganda in here like that. But this is a big deal to know that even pro-Israel, pro-IDF, long-term IDF military men are saying Israel will collapse. He says most of the pretentious declarations made by Defense Minister Yoav Gallant throughout the war in Gaza have proven to be groundless. After the occupation of Gaza City, he said that Israel was in total control of the city and its tunnels. Within a short time, Hamas would surrender. After the occupation of Khan Yunis, he claimed that Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar was running in the tunnels by himself and had lost control of his men, and within a few days, he would be caught. Now, of course, this happened to come out the day that Yahya Sinwar was killed, but his point still stands. With these pronouncements, Gallant, along with his colleagues, IDF Chief Staff Herzi Halevi and Prime Minister Netanyahu, has been throwing dust in the eyes of Israel's public. It seems that he has begun, speaking about Yoav Gallant, it seems that he has begun to realize that failing to reach a hostage deal with Hamas would lead to a regional war that would put Israel in serious danger. I assume the Defense Minister Gallant already understands that the war has lost its purpose. Even Israelis, even former IDF, are saying Israel, that their aim, that their war has lost its purpose. Even they're saying that. Now, I would say their purpose was genocide to begin with, but either way, Israel is sinking deeper into the Gazan mud, losing more and more soldiers as they get killed or wounded without any chance of achieving the war's main goal, bringing down Hamas. The country really is galloping towards the edge of an abyss. If the war of attrition against Hamas and Hezbollah continues, Israel will collapse within no more than a year. The reservist army is voting with its feet following recurring mobilizations of combat soldiers, meaning the reservists are leaving. The economy is also crashing. I've brought to you many pieces of proof that the economy in Israel is collapsing. Apparently, when I brought it to you, 43,000 businesses had collapsed in Israel, and that estimate was going to, they were estimating 65,000 by the end of the year. Israel has also become a pariah state, prompting economic boycotts and an embargo on arms shipments. We are losing our social resilience as the growing hatred between different parts of the nation threatens to ignite and bring to its destruction from within. And, you know, one can only hope all of this will happen. When someone is committing a genocide that's killed 42,000 people, actually 200,000 if you count the famines and death by disease, etc., it's the moral thing to hope that said nation state stops being able to do that, and the only thing that seems to stop them is their collapse. He continues, Netanyahu has lost his humanity, his basic morality, norms, and values, and responsibility for Israel's security. He's lost his humanity, his basic morality, and his norms. And that statement also goes for anyone who supports Israel right now. This is IDF saying this, and it goes for anyone who supports Israel right now. The media, the U.S. media, the British media, the British ruling elite, the U.S. ruling elite in Canada and other countries, whoever is supporting this, either tacitly or implicitly, it doesn't matter. They have proven they are morally bankrupt. They've lost their morality. They've lost their humanity. And that's full stop. That's what this is. That's what this is. They seem to have completely lost their humanity. They've lost their ability to understand what is moral in a world where you're watching people burn on your screens, burn to death, where you're watching children obliterated under buildings. It's unbelievable to see this many people lose their ability to tell right from wrong, even mildly.